All right, as promised, 7 o'clock. We are live. CrappieKast live Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We got John and Jessica. Y'all know them. That bottom fella, that's Ryan Duley. We'll let a few people get on here, and we'll let John introduce Ryan officially and tell her how they met and all that good stuff. And we'll take some questions. Y'all get your questions ready and your comments and all that stuff, and we'll try to answer a few questions, and we're going to talk some crappie. So we got a few people starting to stack on here, and I'll let y'all doing all right tonight, John?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Yeah. You've been doing some honeydews around there, and Jessica's been working. So.
Yeah.
How's the weather up your way, Ryan?
It's warm. It's nice. It's nice though. It's been pretty dry. So.
Yeah. So you're in Missouri, correct?
Yeah, down around the Boot Hill. Yep.
Boot Hill. Okay. Right there. Okay.
Gonna be a nice Memorial weekend.
It is gonna be a nice weekend, man. You know, I'm thankful for people like John that serve the military, and we can goof off. You know, so. But we got a few people on here, John. John, you can tell how you met Ryan, man. We got about 16, 20 people on here, so you can go into that.
Good deal. So Ryan Duley and I, this is a testament to how great the Crappie community is. Ryan and I met through we're looking for people to stay at a house for a tournament, right. And Ryan ended up being one of the people staying there, and we just kind of hit it off. We became friends. Just from people staying and fishing a crappie tournament, and since then, Ryan's come to the house and stayed on his way to Florida to go fish a tournament. We talk a lot. We throw ideas at each other. It's just amazing how tight knit the community is of crappie fishing. I mean, I know the bass guys, they're always like at each other's throats and stuff.
Oh yeah, well, you know, they have their little clique, so you know. Yeah,
Matt at the time, Ryan was fishing with Matt Maglaviano, I think I pronounced it.
Maglaviano, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people know him from 3 Pound Fishing. They were partners, and we all, like I said, we all stayed together, had a good time, and
I think next year we stayed.
Yeah,
the next year, the fourth.
The next year we stayed all together. It was just Ryan and Jessica and I and his. Your father-in-law didn't stay with us, did he?
My father didn't stay. My son stayed up one night.
Yeah, he stayed with us, and man, we always have a big time. And now I'm gonna say this, Shane. I'm gonna go ahead and put it out here. If you want to run for your money on cooking a steak. Hey, Ryan, yeah. We're going to have a show off on the Alabama River.
Yeah.
A showdown. It's going to be a showdown on the Alabama River. Ryan Duley versus Shane Jones in a steak cook.
Oh, yeah, we'll have a cook-off.
Well, I cheated a little bit. You know, I had that dry ager. I had that thing sitting in there for a little while.
I remember that in the story now. I remember that. Yeah. I remember.
Oh, you remember my buddy, the one I had in there for 28 days, my buddy.
Dude, tell the whole story. Tell the whole.
Yeah, tell the whole story, dude. It's entertaining.
So I get this ribeye roast, and my buddy, my best friend's got a dry ager, and I asked if he wanted one. He said, "No, I'm good." So I just got me and John one, and whoever else was going to be at the house. Dude, the thing was getting just prime. Me in there about 28 days, and about 4 days before we leave for Grenada, I went and it's gone. My roast is gone. And I'm calling everybody I know that sees my ribeye roast. And my buddy answered, he said, "Oh yeah, it's in my cooler. We're on our way to Colorado going elk hunting." I said, "What are you doing with my ribeye roast?" He said, "Oh, I thought it was mine." So I had to scrounge and go get another one, and I only got to dry age it for about 5 days, but it was still worth it.
I got you. He took it on to Colorado with him.
Well, it went on an elk hunting trip instead of a fishing trip.
Hey, Shane, we were doing like every week you would send me a new picture of the ribeye.
I remember that. I remember the anticipation leading up to it. I remember that.
It was looking beautiful, wasn't it?
It was.
You say hi to everybody?
Yeah, that's Ryan Duley's daughter. What's her name, Ryan?
Weston with an A-N.
Oh, Weston. Okay, with A-N. Okay, nice to meet you, Weston.
Hey, Wes.
Say hello to everybody. She out of school, isn't she?
She's out of school. Friday was her last day.
Man, that's awesome.
Last Friday.
I remember them days, buddy. You know, I was laughing. I see the school bus drivers in the morning, and they were smiling that big, you know, the other morning like this. They knew they was out for the summer.
Last day, wasn't it?
Yeah, those school bus drivers were happy, buddy. I don't blame them. I'm sure they got their hands full, man.
I don't think you can pay me enough to be a school bus driver.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, Holden's on here. Christopher Smith, Davey Bailey, Chad Gillen, Terrell Wallace, and Bill Lolly Jr. How y'all doing, buddy? Y'all doing all right tonight? There's a few people popping on here.
Hey, everybody, if y'all can see this watercolor back here, it looks like peanut butter. That's what Jessica and I normally fish in, like, all the time here at the house.
Yeah. I noticed that stained water right there.
That's about as forgiving as it gets. We went through a drought and got a little green color one time. We got lucky.
Man.
Are y'all getting a bunch of rain right now, John?
Not really. I mean, we did last week, and then this week we got some. But we were in a little bit of a drought, and I was worried about the corn crops. But, man, there's going to be some beautiful corn this year if it just keep, doing like it's doing.
I passed a bunch of corn. Where was I going?
It's tossing.
There's a bunch in Montevallo there by the rock plant that our company that I work for does work. And I guess that lime being on it and whatever they done, that is the greenest.
Yeah.
Corn, it's glowing. I mean, when you go by there. Oh,
So,
Destin said, look here. Destin said he bought 2 Fat Boy poles today there, Johnny.
I love it.
Over there somewhere.
Yeah, be talking about the outlaw 5-footer, huh?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's exactly what he's talking about, Ryan.
I've got one for Jamie Hall, I think it is. It's sitting in my living room. I got to get that to him in Montgomery. But, man, everybody that's fishing on the boat with us and use that pole.
Yeah, man. I was talking to somebody today that says they like. Who was that? They were talking they like a short rod. Jeremy at the plant I went and visited.
They sold out quickly at C&M. You're
talking about CT Ward? Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I always say C&M, thinking about Eric's thing.
CT Ward, that's right.
Yeah, they sold out of them short poles as soon as they got them. But
good salesman, John.
Hey,
I bought one of them. I remember when I was down there doing that meet and greet, I snatched one of them off there. I think one of my buddies bought the other one.
I had one in my boat after one of our club tournaments here about, I guess, 2 months ago. And I showed that to him, and he said, "Here's my money." I said, "Well, you don't even want to know about it?" He said, "No, I like that short handle. It don't get my gut."
Yeah, it looks like Chad Gillen said he just got off Logan Martin. Said he caught a ton of eater crop. He said the docks were loaded. So I imagine that. I seen where.
Did y'all see that video of that lady going off on the guy up on Logan Martin?
Was it Logan Martin?
Yes, I seen that lady at the. Yeah, I seen her. The lady that rents it. Yeah, I seen that.
One of the guys in the video I'd actually talked. He had bought some electronics through Andalusia Marine, and
right.
I actually had talked to him through setting up his stuff, and I saw he said, like, "That's my boat." I said, "Well, you're Facebook famous." I said, "You got the carrying on you."
It was so funny. He was shooting under that pontoon, I assume, and she come down there and said something about, "You don't need to be fishing here." And I was like, and he was just kind of blowing her off. And she said, "You better be glad he ain't out here." But they don't realize the guy at Alabama River tried to pull that mess, and he served some time in jail.
Yeah.
So he come down there with a shotgun on his shoulder, threatening some bass fishermen. And you don't own the water; you own the material that's in the water. But that's it. So
well, Caitlin and I were fishing on the river. We didn't have the gun pulled on us, but we had one. He talked pretty rough to us one day, and he's like, "I'm gonna call the game warden," and we're both like, "Please, that's what you need to do."
Hey, speaking of game wardens, I ran a trip last Saturday, and I come out of Demopolis, and game warden pulled down there. He rolled his window. They said, "Hey, Shane, how you doing?" I said, "Whoa." He said, "I watch your videos and everything." I'm thinking, "Oh, okay." He said, "Man, if you ever come down here one evening early, I'd like to go fishing with you." He keeps up with everybody, all us. So I thought he was a real nice guy. His name was Brett something. He's in Hill County. Nice guy.
Hey, Shane, before we go much further, Ryan did something a lot of people are doing these days. He found a 22-foot Ranger.
Oh, he done that. Okay.
Yes, and he's sitting in it right now. If I'm
Yeah, I
not,
see you sitting in there. I see him sitting in his boat.
and he did it right. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'll tell you, most him and Scott Williams and Hayden and
Lamar. That Lamar had one.
Yeah.
Show us your setup.
Yeah, we want to see it, Ryan.
Yeah, go ahead and show it, Ryan.
I mean, he sent me a few pictures. This will be my first live tutorial.
Go ahead. You can reset it back up. He probably gonna lose him moving the camera. Oh, there he goes.
How do I flip this thing around?
You can. What you got? You got your phone there, Ryan?
Yeah.
You can't. You have to just take it away from you and just.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to do that.
All right.
So.
But
Okay, let me jump out here.
You got a Ranger 522, right? Oh yeah.
Yep.
I told
522. Okay.
I told him when he first
With the
got
Mercury.
it, money back for
There
it.
you go.
It was a blessing. I got in this boat about the same money as I sold my old boat for, and it's about 10 years older, but it's in decent shape. You know, it's hard to find those 522s anymore.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of people going to them.
That's a sled.
Yeah, that is a boat.
So here's my live scope setup. See that? But see this transducer bracket right here?
All right.
Ryan, I would say this to Ryan. He's cutting out a little bit.
And I've got both of my transducers. Yeah, this right here. And I keep that way. I use both transducers. This one to locate the fish, and this one to catch them. That way, I'm not. That way I don't have to decrease my range after every fish. You know, I've got this one set out about 70 feet, and this one at 30 where I catch them.
Okay.
And when the LVS 34 came out, one of the biggest issues people had, they say it's hard to judge the size of fish, and I agreed with them. So that's why I went back to my old one to find them. I think to me, I can find, maybe I haven't used a 34 enough at a further distance, but the 34 is so much clearer, up front and in brush. And so on my screen, I got them both hooked up to my 16-inch Garmin.
Right.
I just have to hit the preset button to toggle from back and forth. I only push one button instead of all of them.
I understand. That's cool.
Yeah. And my crop, what I've got is performance brakes from Danny Rogers with Performance Fishing Electronics.
Mm-hmm.
He's got this neat bracket here. I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah, we can see it good.
There's this bracket here. The old bracket system I had, the bolts would break off inside the blind hole, and you kind of be messed up out on the water.
Right.
And Danny's got this design here where if you break a bolt off, you hit a stump and break a bolt off, you just replace this on the water. You don't have to worry about that blind hole, take a machine shop and drilling it out. And so I like this system so far. It's working pretty good. And it comes with this harness here.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I keep a spare. If something happens, they quit. I just cut my wire there and splice them up and be back on the water in 30 minutes instead of losing a whole day of fishing.
That's nice there.
And these brackets here, these are the bottom brackets. They actually hold. They ain't moving around. They hold on to the power poles and they hold on to your trolling motor. And anyway, I'm running 55s. I just got 55s since my last ones Danny hooked me up with those 55s. My last ones with the other brake company, they got water in them. They quit working. So I thought, well, I'm just going to go up to 55s.
I got you. You got that big old heavy boat. You got to stop it. So
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. The 40s did okay, but 55s do a lot better.
oh yeah, that's a lot of weight in that 522, man.
Yep.
Shane, right now Ryan's in the top 5 in points in Crappie Masters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Sitting in 4th right now. Of course, there's some more hammers that's only fished 3 tournaments. So
right,
I've got to replace my Lake Fork tournament. That's something I was going to tell you too. This is something it's a good trick or a good tip for a tournament fisherman. Is down at Lake Fork. I don't know if y'all heard or seen, but that first day of the tournament, some pretty ferocious winds, and something that messed me up, but I didn't catch it until about the middle of the second day of the tournament. Is I hit a stump 7:30 that Friday morning, the first day of the tournament, and I hit it so hard on this new transducer here, it actually flipped it to the middle section. And so that's down view. And with the waves so rough, I didn't catch that. I didn't know. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't find the fish. And another thing I did on top of that is I had my wires reversed in here. So they were showing up. I was using the wrong transducers. And
man,
I say that cost me some pretty good fish.
I believe it. You know that Scott Mitchell, a friend of ours, he fished the tournament in that National Crappie League, and he left his cover on until 10 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
I didn't think it would go through it, but it did. He said he left his cover on at 10 o'clock. I was like,
yeah.
Okay. That sounds like something I would do.
I've got a tip for people that are running 2 transducers like he's doing.
Right.
So what I did with mine, I took 2 different spray paint cans, and I just hit the cord, and I hit the end, with a port on the back of it with the same spray paint can.
And you match them
so
up.
when I put them in, it's just gray to gray and red to red.
Right. Hey, whatever you got to do, tape it, whatever. So
Yeah. I bought some tags, John, and tagged them.
Hey,
that's bad when you got too many electronics on there, Ryan. You got to start tagging stuff.
Hey, I'm telling you, if Ryan Duley puts his mind to it, he's gonna figure it out.
Well, that's a good thing about going, Ryan. You can figure out a need, and you're like, man, I really need this, or I need that, and that's how And you just sharing that little information, or somebody messages you, somebody may say that's a great idea. Like John was saying, the crappie fishing community is a huge sharing community. It's unreal. Like it's crazy, and people, it's no big secrets to nothing, if you've broken or fixed something that's broken, that's what's nice about sharing. Hey, I done this to keep this from happening, Trying to see if we got any questions. Everybody's just saying, hey, Chris said, thanks for sending that rod, John. Chris Collins.
I got to keep my daughter off the drum set. She's on the drum set rocking out back there. I had to ask her to be quiet.
I understand. Hey.
Taking after mama?
Yep. Yep.
Hey, I want to talk about something right quick, Shane. We got a little.
Go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead.
All right, so Limits Tackle's been good to Shane and I, and they make a lot of quality stuff. And Steve Goncalves, I can never pronounce his name correctly, but anyway. All right, so Shane gives me a hard time about using monkey milk baits all the time. The color monkey milk.
I don't even ask what color John uses, guys. Either.
No, all right. So during the summer. Oh, here we go. That's my summertime, baby. That's my thing right there.
Is that a Cajun cricket color?
Yeah, Steve makes that. But I'm gonna show y'all what I normally do to it during the summer. If you see about half that body,
I cut it down, huh?
I'll bite that thing off. I'm not gonna throw it on the boathouse floor so I don't get in trouble by you know who. But all right, so at this point I've got it so small that it's at this side. Tiny. All right, Steve also makes a hook that I like for black crappie.
Yeah, I got some.
All
I
right.
got
So
now.
now y'all look. See that's got a wire keeper on it.
That's right.
You can take that plastic I just showed you and this hook and catch a limit of fish. In Alabama, that's 30 fish. That same plastic. Now look, if you take that Walmart brand plastic, 3 fish, you're done.
Oh, it's a little
All right.
ridiculous.
So what I do is I'll get this hook. He first sends it to me. All right. So if you run your finger across this hook, just normally it's not catching.
Right.
If you bend it out just slightly.
That's right. That's what I do. Open it up.
Slightly bend it out. Oh, I'm caught.
Yeah.
I mean, not enough that you're losing fish, but he's also got this one. He calls a tad fry. You ain't got to bite this off. Look at that.
Yeah, I got some of those.
That tad fry.
Corey's asking where those jig heads come from. That's Limits Tackle, Corey.
Limits
That's
Tackle.
Steve Gonsalves.
Gun called CALVES. Limits. Look at Limits Tackle. But look how tiny that little bait is. If you got some fish, you know what? Black crappie.
Yeah. It's Limits Tackles, Corey. I don't want to butcher Steve's last name all the time. Great guy.
Got that. Well, that one doesn't, but it's got a wire keeper on the back side. Some good stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's where they come from. Limits Tackle there, Corey. Hey, Mitch. Hey, Ryan, Mitch, what is, Crappie Crane? He wants to know what head allows you to run 2 transducers. You're running 2 units of 2 transducers, correct?
I'm running 1 unit with 2 transducers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of them, I think the 1222 will do it. I've got the 8616, but the 1222, they've got 2 ports on the back for the network.
Right. That's correct.
Yep. And so what you do is, what I do is when you come up to your home screen, it shows all your transducers. You'll have 2 Panoptics live scopes. You hit one of them and save it for one of your presets.
Yep.
And get the second one and set it for preset 2. So then you can just go
out. You can put it on one for searching, and when you go to fishing, you hit the next preset.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on the touch screen,
hey Ryan, it's kind of like having a mullet, right?
Yeah.
What did it say? Party or what?
Business in the front.
Business front, party in the back.
Yeah.
You're running an LVS 32 to search and a 34 to catch. That's what you're telling me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you consider the 34. Matter of fact, David Bailey was just asking. He said, which would you recommend, a 1222 with a 32 or a 1022 with a 34? That's kind of a.
What?
It depends. I would say to Davey, it depends on if he's ever used the 32 or the 34. If he's never used either one of them, that 32, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No, that's what I'm still running. So
yeah. And I think that 12-inch screen would be. I like 12-inch screen better than a 10-inch screen.
I mean, I tell everybody always asks me, if you can afford it, buy you a 12-inch screen. That's just
that 32 will catch you so many fish.
Oh yeah.
Here's the deal right now. Money for money, you're not. I mean, unless you find somebody's got like they're selling a 32,
right?
You get basically the same price.
Right.
You can't. 32s are obsolete.
They're
not making them anymore. Is what John's saying. So
yeah. I'm
still running 32. When it goes kaput, I'll buy a 34. So.
Which I would like to say this, Shane. Joey Cook, I think it is. Look on Messenger, make sure I'm. But transducer doctor.
I see him. I'm friends with him. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So this is no plug for Shane and I for the CrappieKast, but he does a great job fixing.
Oh yeah.
I had to send one to him. I was a dummy. I was like, I was sitting on my little boat. I was sending the trolling motor out. I was like, why would it not go down? And I'm like shoving on it, trying to make it go down. Oh, well, the transducer wire was the reason.
Golly.
And we didn't even pitch a fit.
No, we
Just
did.
remain calm.
I was calm. But hey, and then I showed you yesterday, Shane, what the dumb thing.
Go ahead, buddy. Keep talking.
So yesterday, we came in. I had the little boat. I was our house is on stilts. I was unhooking it, and I didn't have the jack all the way down. So I undo it, and it rolls a little bit, and the jack and everything, the tongue just goes to the ground. I was like, you dummy. And I didn't have the jack locked out.
Didn't have it in a locked place, huh?
Yeah, I had to get the floor jack to jack it back up. But everybody's done something dumb like that at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, I just put a trailer tongue into my tailgate today.
Oh. Right. Hey, Ryan, we ain't even talked about your work. I mean, Ryan's got a big league cutting lawn business. How many he measured it by acres, so that lets you know how many.
Yeah, you got a lawn service, you said, Ryan?
Yeah, I do. I've had a lawn service now for probably, I think I'm going on 16 years now.
Good for you.
And I used to have about 8 employees, but I can't find anybody to work these days. So I downgraded.
That ain't
I
funny.
downgraded to just what I can do, what I could take care of, but I had to put in about 65 hours a week. But I say I've got two customers, and I probably do close to 100 acres of mowing between those two people.
Cool.
Man, y'all are getting it. You're running some fast zero turns.
I've invested in a mower this year that will run 19 miles an hour downhill.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, talk a little bit about the trail you run up there in Missouri and the lakes you fish and that sort.
Yeah, we basically just have a little small group and just one lake here, Wapapella Lake down here in the Boot Hill, Missouri. I tell you what, I've always tell anybody, if you can figure out how to catch crappie on Wapapella, you can do good at any lake in the country. The fish there are so picky, and it's a river system. Just got one river running through, and we got 2 major creeks coming out into the lake too. And I mean, you could just load your boat up with 8-inch fish all day long, 8-inch fish. But the last 3 years, we've had a pretty good hatch. I don't know if it's the gizzard shad hatch has been right for all the smaller fish to get bigger quicker. But so about 3 years ago in our classic in February, it's kind of how I judge it by. Everybody was catching 3/4 pound fish. I mean, just as many as you want. The next year, they was all 1.25 pounds. Well, this last year, 1.5 pounds fish. I mean, it's getting better every year, and I like to see it stay that way. But it's a really good fishery, especially for kids. You go out, and kids, all kids want to do is have fun, reel in the fish. Ain't that right? And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're 8-inch fish or 1.5 pound fish. Kids like catching them. Here you go. And speaking of that, we have a kids tournament coming up in June 10th.
I want to go.
Okay, bye, babe. And so, but anyway, we have one tournament a month at the Wapapella Crappie Club. We have a kids tournament. We have a his and hers tournament. And I'm trying to organize a veterans tournament in August. And I'm going to ask John for some ideas on that. But it's to support our local VA. There's a lot of money that the government won't help out on homeless veterans or, utility bills or stuff like that. And so we're going to try to raise some money for that coming August.
I got you. That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. You got to walk. I'm glad you're going to ask me because some of the people that try to say they are helping veterans don't. Their needs are above the veterans. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly. What you're saying.
Right. Yeah. So I had this gentleman. He tried to have he organized a tournament back on April 1st, and I was out of town fishing the Lake Fork tournament, and I heard it wasn't a very good turnout, but it was a bad weather day too. But anyway, he emailed me all the different groups that money goes to, and it looked pretty legit, on all his fact. He's a volunteer for the VA out of
That's
Poplar
good.
Bluff, Missouri. So
Yeah. If somebody's volunteering to go work at the VA, they got a good heart. Because I mean,
Yeah, they got good
Yeah.
intention for
you
everything.
get to see people at their highest high and their lowest lows if you go to a VA.
guys, I got to plug my battery up
Go
real
ahead, buddy.
quick.
Hey,
All
hey,
right.
John,
Hey,
here's
There
a
we go.
question for you, John.
Shane,
Terrell's
I got
asking a
talk.
question for you, John.
I can't
I
read
said
it.
Terrell's asking a question for you. I know. Does the mayfly hatch help crappie fishing? Go on.
Okay.
We were just talking about that this week, Terrell.
I am so happy for this. All right. So
I knew you would be.
so our lake, where we live on, and the one above us, we have a very, very low amount of shad. So the mayfly hatch is a real big thing for our lakes. Our fish will gorge themselves and look like almost like they're exploding with eggs.
Mhm.
I mean, and you'll catch them. They'll be throwing them up. They'll be pooping the fly hatch out.
Yeah, I was talking the other day, and John was like, "This thing's throwing up, willow flies, mayflies." I was
Yeah.
like, "Really?"
Now, John, does that go for white crappie and black crappie, or mainly just the black?
Both of them, they smoke them.
Both of them.
So what you can do is when we have a fly hatch, we're fortunate enough to live in the water. All right, when I first start seeing them come out, that first night, if you'll go around and throw a fly around docks with lights or anywhere you think there's going to be part of the fly hatch, you can catch crappie, you can catch channel cat, you can catch bass, you can catch sand bass, white bass, everything on that fly when there's a hatch, because everything comes and eats it.
Right.
And it is absolutely amazing. But you got to catch the hatch, because what happens is they're like me and Shane, old big belly boys. We go to a Chinese buffet, we get full, we get selective at the end.
We're going for the good stuff. That's right.
Go over and get the chicken.
So the mayfly is about like McDonald's French fries. Everybody likes them.
Oh yeah. You can say what you want to. Some of the other stuff ain't good, but them French fries, man, they got it.
Yeah, but at the end, it's full, so they're gonna be more selective. But the fly hatch here saves our lake, I feel like, because that's the most protein these fish get for the year. But I hope I answered that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, a lot of people say, "Hey, do I need to throw a brown colored jig or whatever?" If that profile Terrell matches close to that mayfly, they're gonna smoke it.
Well, the biggest thing with them is that the spot they're in. It's amazing. Right. The fish from the middle of the lake will be full of flies, and that they've gone to the edge of the lake to get them.
Right.
Because I mean, there's no way that amount of flies is falling in the middle of the lake.
Right. I'm sitting here playing with this layout. Ryan, I'm gonna thank two of these sponsors. We're about halfway through. I'm gonna thank two of them. We got 5 sponsors, but I can just lean back. D right here at Alpha Plumbing. He's been sponsored since the get-go. D Robertson, any plumbing needs you need. Great guy. He supports everything. He bought in to the Crappie Masters, the Alabama Crappie Trail. He's sponsoring the tournament that's gonna come up here in February. And y'all can't hardly see that sign, but that one back over my shoulder right there, that's Steve Dove at One Call, Heating and Air. He's offering 10% discount on service work or any work just for mentioning CrappieKast. That's that'll save you a lot of money. I want to thank them two guys for sure. And we're going to thank some more as the show goes on.
Shane,
appreciate them.
Shane, for everybody that has never met Sasquatch before.
We talk about Ray stuff. Look, hold on just a second while you reminded me.
Have an honest chance to meet Sasquatch.
Ray, right there, that Laylet Sunset. He's got a cabin, but he's going to rent out that main house right there on Lay Lake. I'll post the information in the comments later after the show. He owns a Lay Lake Sunset cabin. He's been renting the cabin out, but he's going to rent the house out starting in June. Ray made sure to mention that to me. I told him I'd put it on the show, but he's got a beautiful place right there. You can go down there for the weekend. Kids are out of school, but you can contact me or Ray. I'll post his information in the comments.
And
I appreciate him. So
you can meet the real life Sasquatch.
Oh yeah, he's a big old fella.
6'8". Now Ray's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine. We always pick at him,
Oh, Clifford asking. He's asking, do y'all have any willow worms down here? I don't even know what a willow worm is. What's a willow worm?
We have willow flies. I don't know willow. I mean,
I don't know what a willow worm is, Clifford. You have to educate me on that.
Is that like a catawba?
I guess. I don't know. You know, I ain't seen catawba worms since I was a kid, hardly.
Ooh,
you know,
boy, we love them.
Oh yeah, y'all put them out for catch all them big catfish. So
Yeah.
So hey, Ryan, are you a caster, long rod guy? Where are you, Ryan?
Well, whatever the fish are doing is what I go for. When I started the tournament trail, my first ever tournament was down Darbone in 21, and that was right when live scope was new. And I was pitching with a 10-foot rod, and did pretty decent. Did really good that second day of that tournament. And the next year at Darbone, I was long poling, and I've been long poling pretty much ever since. And then this past February down at Darbone, we had a windy first day, of course, and I was long poling, and I didn't do near as good as what I thought I knew I could have done. And that night, I sat there. Now, what did I do that first year I was down here? And I thought I was pitching to him with a 10-foot pole.
There you go.
I pulled out my 10-footer, and I believe I had the second biggest weight on day number 2 by pitching with my 10-foot rod. I could pitch out further to them. You know, there's fish down there at Darbone are spooky.
Ooh,
and I kicked myself in the butt. So why didn't you do that the first day? You know, it was probably the funnest day of fishing I've ever had in my life. My father-in-law, bless his heart, he's my net man, and his thumb was bloody from taking off so many fish that day. And he said never in his life has he ever had to throw back so many 180s in his life.
So, you thought back to past history of the lake the year before. You're like,
yeah,
what was I doing?
I thought back and what was I doing at this time? Yeah.
Right. I understand.
And it's a lot of people get in the habit of doing the same thing over and over. And, when the fish are spooky like that, I think you scare off more than you have an opportunity to catch.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And,
you're right. I know when I went to Grenada, Ryan, it was like that same way.
Yeah. But then there's times when you pitch into them that they don't want to chase, It's kind of a dang if you do, dang if you don't. But I was just so fortunate that they were actually biting better chasing it than they were dropping down on them at that day.
Right. They change day to day. You're right. I mean, you got to adapt. You got to have all the rods. Unfortunately, you got to have all these rods to adapt to whatever the conditions the fish are. If they don't want to move and they're spooky, you got to get a long rod on her. We thought
with this live scope, we'd save some money. Don't have to have 8 or 16 rods in your boat, but I still have just as many.
You're right. You gotta. To me, I had to put all my short rods down and get the long rod out to play with it to make myself decent with it. And it felt awkward, just like flipping did back in the day.
That's what I tell everybody who's struggling with learning how to live scope. I said you just got to keep the long rods home. Well, I did that for 2 months.
I carry guys on electronic trips a lot, and John will tell you, and yourself will tell you, everybody, you're going to get frustrated with it and everything. You still got to spend your time behind it to get better at it,
Yeah. Absolutely right.
For sure.
I was talking about my father-in-law. My father-in-law was talking about he's my net man now. It's funny. He's the one that got me into crappie fishing. Back in probably around 04, 05, at the Crappie Masters Classic down at Grenada, him and his partner came in second. And at that time, they won a brand new Triton bass boat and a chainsaw. Oh. And I thought, you got that for second place? And a big old trophy. And he took me for my first ever crappie fishing trip down Kentucky Lake crankbaiting. And so fishing with him all the years, I've got to learn all different ways of fishing. And now live scopes come out. Now I'm teaching him.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, but Ryan, go ahead.
Ryan, tell the story he told us about when they were fishing that tournament and that putting the water in the boat and.
Oh
set-
yeah, so they were fishing out of a Sea Arc. That's my old boat before I got this Ranger was a 8610 or 186 Stealth, Sea Arc
Right.
Stealth.
Right.
And that's actually I bought that boat from him, but they were fishing out of a Sea Arc, and it was so windy, spider rigging. They had 5-gallon buckets. They were filling their boat up with water. In an aluminum boat on Grenada with high winds. That's pretty ballsy.
That's pretty ballsy. Yeah. Hey, if everybody don't
But-
know, I mean, Ryan, to tell you, there's numbers on the bank at Grenada, like Mayday numbers. If you sink your boat, you can tell them what number you're by on the bank. I mean,
Yeah,
it gets silly, and they're talking about filling their boat up with water, like helping it.
yeah, they're filling their boats up with water just to keep them baits steady, and it paid off for them. I can't remember who came in first, but something wants me to think it was Ronnie and Steve came in first.
Right?
Imagine
But-
that.
Yeah, I don't know that for sure, but that's just you look at the numbers in the past tournaments. I mean, they're dynamite. Every tournament. So,
Right.
but yeah, it so that kind of stirred me to get into crappie fishing, and when I bought my first boat from him about 4 years ago, we just hook, line, and sinker, and I don't know. I don't know if the wife's happy or not. Happy that I'm going all the time now fishing, or I don't know.
You'll never know.
Yeah,
But she appreciates you working hard all during the year cutting grass, and I understand.
yeah. She knows I put in a lot of hours during the summer, but
That's exactly right. To run, that's right. Oh, Stan Ridgway, he's wanting to stress the importance of taking care of your transducer cables. Like John was saying, he smashed his. Especially when you're putting them on, the guys. You don't take zip ties. Most people use tape. They make a bunch of these nice clips now. Don't sit up there and zip tie and cut your transducer cable because you're not doing any favor. I'm sure you can emphasize on that, Ryan.
yeah. I was going to show you something that I did just makeshift at home.
Yeah.
Being in the lawn care business, I do a lot of irrigation work too. And what I took, let me see if I turn my phone around here. I took some irrigation pipe here, and I cut the irrigation pipe in half and run my cables through it and zip tied them between this, the hook,
Okay.
the hook right here, because this is the major pinch point. And then I've got another spot here.
You just sleeved it, then done it. I got you.
Yeah, the sleeve, so that it still has room to go up and down. And yeah, that was a good idea.
Cable's moving. So
Hey, Shane, if somebody can think of it, I'm telling you, Dooley will think of it.
that's a great idea right there, Ryan. Sleeve it like that with some. That's a great idea. But yeah, he just want to remind everybody because a lot of people putting their live scopes in, or somebody else is putting it in. If you don't go back and look at that kind of stuff, when you're picking that trolling motor up and down, it is sawing through that zip tie. And it will end up cutting it. So
Well, I shoved it down right in the main joint of where the trolling motor come down like a dummy. I'm like, you should have known when the trolling motor would go down going on. I just went hard. I was like
oh yeah, man. Hey,
fish on the brain. And Jessica and I talk about this. She has the same dream. I think we talked about this before. We'll wake up at night setting hook on a fish. I mean, you got it bad when you wake up at night and you're like setting the hook on a fish. Like, oh, I was on a dream. I was hook. And Jessica had a dream, so I guess that's when you know that you love it.
that's right. Let's thank Alabama Metals right here, Johnny. We'll get this up. We got two more. We're going to get one more in right here and we'll answer a few questions here. Alabama Metal Supplies, Mr. Tommy Layton. If you're redoing your dock, your barn, your house, deliver it right to your door, knows all about anything to do with metal roofs. He's been a sponsor of the show for a few months. Great guy. Met with him a few times and talked. But if you're looking to do your dock, your barn, your house, trusses, anything to do with metal, pole barns, anything, give Mr. Tommy a call, man. I appreciate Mr. Tommy for sponsoring the show. Let's see. Let's get another question. Then we got to do CT Ward. Let's see. Clipper's saying when Truman floods, he was talking about those worms earlier. When it floods, they get up in the willow trees and the worms fall off. He said they're a little green. They're little green yellow worms. I've never seen them.
That's
Oh,
guitar
you little inchworms?
I don't
I
know.
think
Maybe
It
it
sounds like
might be. Yeah,
it sounds like inchworms. I mean, to me,
yeah.
I see them on my shirt doing that little, that little hump.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. You're 100% right.
chalkworms do the same thing.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, I went into a flooded place. We're talking about willow flies. I went to a flooded creek on the river, and I hung my jig in a tree, and I snatched, and they went everywhere. And I was like, whoa. And I literally went up there and threw shallow, and I could see the crappie slapping at my bait like a skipjack, just swatting at it. And where they had been feeding on willow flies, and we caught 40 fish in an hour. I mean, they were aggressive, man.
Hey, Duley, what do y'all call, like, y'all got a different name for stuff we do, because all right, so like the wild, we call them bulluses or sculpnums. What do y'all call those? It's like a vine that grows like grapes.
Oh, you talking about scuppernons or?
Yeah, we call them
Sculpins.
sculpnons, or we call them bulluses, or
muscadine.
what do y'all call those up there in Missouri, Ryan?
Son, I ain't got a clue. I don't know if we got that here in Missouri.
They grow on like I said, they grow on a vine. Like I said,
It looks
vine
like
outside
a vine, but it looks like grapes.
Yeah, they're really good. I make myself sick to them.
Y'all don't have them?
They grow in clusters.
Yeah.
Well, no, they'll grow like, it'll be individual.
They grow wild in the woods too. Deer eat them.
Not like elderberry.
No.
No.
Okay.
Running vine.
They're muscadine, but we got a lot of them around here. They grow wild in the woods too. Deer destroy them. So.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have that up here. If we do, I don't know about them.
There's a reason I'm asking the question. All right, so they grow over our creeks and our rivers here, and when they're dropping, you can actually set bush hooks below them and like set bush hooks with a hook, and the catfish. You can actually catch catfish with basically a grape.
Wow.
Yeah. Surely good. Yeah, I know good and well y'all got.
Y'all had our muscadines up there. I guarantee you they grow.
Shane, I'm so jealous. He gets to go look for morel mushrooms.
Oh, now I do get jealous of all the people up there in Missouri and Illinois and.
Oh yeah. That. Go ahead and tell it. Go ahead and tell it, Ryan. So we go.
It was a good year this year for them suckers.
I see them frying them up. And speaking of frying, did you see what Eric Cagle cooked a while ago, John?
What? What did he do?
Man, he had that little frying saucer with crappie and shrimp piled all over it. I was looking at it right before the show started. I was like, man.
But we ain't got. We can't do. We don't have morels in Alabama. But.
No. We got shrooms that grow under cow patties. People take to get high.
See, we don't have shrimp up here.
I don't think y'all have in Missouri. So.
Ryan, go ahead and tell the story about the mushroom.
So yeah, I've got 3 children. 13-year-old, 11-year-old, and a 7-year-old, and I thought, it's getting close to the end of the season for the morels. We're gonna go out. I'm gonna teach them. We're just gonna have a family fun day.
Right.
And we came in. It was a good day. We had about 55 morels, and we sliced them up. So that gave us 110 pieces, and we ate every one of them things for supper. And they were every one of them liked it. And something they actually got to pick out of the ground, and we brought home and cooked and eat, and and have a little crappie with that too. It just I don't know.
Awesome. That's a big.
To me, that's what life's about.
That's a big fellowship thing right there. That's awesome.
Man.
Yeah. That is awesome. Let me make sure I ain't missing no questions. I've been going through here trying to find out. We're gonna thank CT Ward, and we're gonna take some questions. Y'all get some questions coming on right here. CT Ward right here, last of the sponsors here, but not least. CT Ward Power Sports in Camden, Alabama. He's got the biggest boat selection probably I've seen.
Those Hustler mowers are dynamite there.
Yeah, he sells Hustler mowers, Ryan. Give him a shout out.
I've been in business for 16 years, and I've had about 15 Hustlers.
He's got 20 of them. Give Taylor and Jessica a shout right now. I went out there and sat on that thing, the 60-incher, and I was like, man, it's got USB cord.
That picture right there looks like that might be the 104-inch one.
I don't know. It's a he's
That
got
that
some big
104-inch one's a beast. I've used one.
right. He's got Hustler lawnmowers that sell boats. He's got Godfrey pontoons, hurricane deck boats. Man, he's got a selection. They've got a stop sign they're working on at Camden. It's messed up his traffic flow up through there.
Oh,
People just coming by. The state's redoing that thing, but y'all need
that's
to
a
get
good thing.
Yeah, they really didn't need to, Ryan. I ain't going no detail, but y'all go by and see old Taylor and Jessica.
Hey,
Yeah, they redoing that thing.
If you got a man that's cutting 100 acres of yard, spends a Hustler mower, I think you go see CT Ward and buy you a Hustler mower.
Yeah, no kidding.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, it's not a coincidence. Ryan's on the show. He's talking about Hustler lawnmowers, and that's one of our sponsors. So
Those Hustler mowers are you can't beat them.
no, I looked at the deck on that thing. It's thick. I went up and kicked it. I said,
Yeah.
this thing's heavy duty here.
I'm just gonna be straight up and honest. I'm not running a Hustler right now, only because my best friend's got a Skag dealership.
I understand.
But those Hustlers are still my favorites.
I understand.
They are good mowers.
Let's see what Michael was asking here. He's asking, what's your best advice for dealing with finicky fish? He said he saw several come up to the jig.
Oh, hey, this is a good Duley comment right here.
Yeah,
All right, go ahead, get it, Ryan.
He said he saw several come up to the jig and then swim off.
Oh,
Right there.
What you got there, Ryan?
This right here is a brush pile bandit, real small profile bait. And it's one of my most favorite summertime baits, besides a minnow. But it's just a real small profile. And I've won 2 tournaments, 2 or 3 local tournaments here last summer with that one bait. And
look at
this one here.
He's sharing secrets in his home area there. Y'all believe
that? I try to tell everybody.
Hey,
and
they're carrying you like you're not telling the truth. So
hey, so here's something I want to tell you all about. I was telling John about I went to the dark side here about 3 weeks ago.
All right, I was supposed to say something about this. All right, so Ryan went to the very dark side, the green trout area.
Oh no!
Yeah, he went fishing for green trout tournament.
Oh,
all right. So I'm sorry.
AKA bass.
I understand. He went to fish some bass fishing. What is that? I shake these things off.
I was bored, and there was a local tournament, and I thought, I'm gonna go try to catch a bass. I seen some bass I caught a 4.5 pounder on a stake bed, and then there was 5 more just like him. I thought, well, if I catch all 5 of them, I win that tournament. Well, it didn't work out too well, but I went out and bought me a 6th Sense swim bait. It's a 3.5-inch swim bait.
I got some over there somewhere.
And my daughter Weston here pulled out boat number 2, and I thought, well, we're gonna go fish this bass tournament. We're the second blast off, so we get out there. This is my second bass tournament, by the way. I had another one the month before, but anyway, I get out there. And I had this thing on my old bait caster, and I slung it out there, the biggest mark I could find. And that fish started attacking it, and I set the hook, brought it was a 1.5 pound crappie. I said, what the crap? It ain't no bad. It ain't going to help me, but that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Second mark I seen, another crappie, 1.25 pounds.
That's awesome.
After the fourth fish, I said, the heck with it. It was all crappie. So I put my bass poles down, and I quit the tournament, and I put up my crappie poles, and I caught my limit of crappie all on that swim bait right there. And
Ryan, I thought me and you was gonna keep this like secret, and
hey,
crappie's not scared of big baits. I mean, crappie's not scared of big baits at all. I cleaned some down there from Miller's Ferry that had 4.5, 5-inch shad in them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not scared. That proves the point right there. What you're showing.
Yeah, but after that last crappie tournament we fished, I won that tournament on that one bait. And it's like my father-in-law with me said, he said, well, you got the bait, but we just got to find the big fish. And we finally found, we had about an hour left in the tournament.
Right.
And I finally went into shallow water and was throwing that in about 3 foot of water. And I caught 5 of the 7 fish, and we won that tournament. And all off of that one bait, and nobody believed me there at the weigh-in. I was being honest with you. I showed it to them, and that last tournament we fell about a 0.13 short, but I still caught most of them on that same swim bait.
Yeah. Hey, Terrell's asking the question, what's the most unusual thing you caught crappie on? Man, I've caught them on a bass jig. I've caught them on spinner baits. And I've caught them on red worms. I mean, I've caught them on some odd stuff. What about y'all?
Shane,
I got
that jig
go ahead, John.
the day before you went fish with me over when that last video. How ugly was that jig? Like a little bushy. It was crazy looking. You remember that blue and purple and all that stuff? The day before you went fishing with me over, we call those big fish.
I think that's the jig you showed me.
No, Shane. No, Shane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking. I remember that ugly jig you showed me. Fuzzy thing.
It was.
Look at this thing. I said, that thing looked like some kid tied it.
It
was fuzzy.
It looked like a little rat, honestly.
Hey, you caught a fish on it right off the bat. You remember?
Yeah.
Hey, I got a buddy. I got a buddy who fishes. He's the net man for another gentleman in the Magnolia Crappie tournament or club. Right. And he was down at Enid, the last tournament at Enid. And he was pre-fishing. He caught a crappie on a Jack's Link paper wrapper. A red paper wrapper.
I don't have anything against pond fishing. I had several lakes when me and my brother leased a high fence down in Utah. Those fish in those lakes, you can catch them on a cigarette butt when they're eating. They're not picky. I mean, I literally parked my boat trailer, left it in the water, and when I come around, I caught 12 bass off the bubbles off of my trailer. I mean, they're not hard to catch. So that's where you carry kids to catch fish. Pond fishing, that's what they're for. Hey, carry kids down there and have some fun.
I did a video last year, and I honestly said, I'm going to catch one on a bare hook. And I did. It was this time last year.
Oh, I believe it.
I took a bare hook, and I went, but it's public, like around here at the house.
Right.
And I said, I'm going to throw the bare hook, and I caught a fish.
That's crazy. Ryan, what are they? They in summer patterns where you are up there, Ryan?
Right now, the fishing on Wapapella is going to get really tough right now in the summer, and that's where that smaller bait I feel is really help you out on that, and they're going to go more towards the brush and stake beds, stake bed fishing and shallow water. It during the summertime, it just blows my mind how many big fish are in 3 foot of water on a 95-degree day.
I wonder, Ryan, I was like, where I fish in Demopolis, there's a lot of artesian whales. Yeah. I believe that some of those artesian whales are coming up in that shallow water and those
cooling it down a little bit. Yeah.
It might be 2 or 3 degrees cooler right by that tree or right by that whale. Because I've caught fish and you set the hook in this mud when the water's 90 degrees. And I'm like, what are you doing up here? So.
Well, you also got to think about the thermocline that comes in the summer too. A lot of times that shallow water's got a little bit more oxygen in it, I think, too.
Maybe. I mean,
yeah.
I don't argue with them nor try to figure out let's go catch them. They get up there, I'm gonna go after them. So.
Yeah. Hey, something else about tournament fishing, John. I forgot to mention. Be prepared when you leave home. Say, for instance, that Lake Fork tournament, I didn't have my checklist out. When I got to Lake Fork, you know what I forgot? My tackle box.
Oh, done that.
My main tackle box. I have an open end tackle box to sit right behind me where I can pull out all my stuff I use a lot.
Right.
And I was fortunate. My buddy Adam White at White Trash Custom Jigs, he ties hair jigs.
Right.
He happened to give me 15 hair jigs before I left on that trip, and I actually put them in the boat. And so when I got down there, these are all I had. His hair jigs, and that first pre-fish day, I had close to 14 pounds in that pre-fish day with his hair jigs. Now, before the end of the tournament, I was down to 2. I lost 13 of them, but still, just the fact that be prepared, make sure your tackle box is in a boat before you leave home.
I have to do that. Hey, Ryan, I'm leaving tomorrow evening to go to Miller's Ferry. They've got a big fish crappie tournament where you weigh a big fish in every hour. John's going to come fish it. It's at Miller's Ferry out of Rolling Cooper State Park. I have to start setting my stuff by the door every day of the week because I'll run off and leave stuff, my units. I've done that before. I left my tackle box. And I'm not getting any younger, and I get fired up like a little kid when I'm going crappie fishing. So I think I'm got to be, moving around, and I'll leave stuff, man.
You left at one time.
I left my grass up here, drove all the way to Cooter's Park.
Goodness.
I went 100 miles, Ryan. I got down there, and I looked at Richard. I said, "Hey, Richard." He said, "Well," I said, "we ain't pre-fish today." He said, "Why not?" I said, "Well, the river's flooded, and I don't have my grass with me, none of them. Like no signs, no nothing,
Yeah, that's a little bit worse than a tackle box.
But I left that tackle box. Now I've got me a big utility box in my boat. Now all my stuff stays in there. So
he called me. He said, "You know what it is?" I said, "Okay, how bad is it?" He said, "It's bad." Left my graphs at home. I said, "Well, you might as well go back to the house."
Hey, what I done, Ryan? This is no kidding. I drove all the way here, grabbed my graphs, got mad, went to the office, caught a lemon of fish, and come back here. So I went an hour and a half back home, then an hour and a half south on the other side of the state.
Hey, Ryan, I'll say that Shane normally is like pretty cool, calm, collective. Don't have, but I've seen him have 2 meltdowns.
Yeah.
That was one of them, huh?
Shane, you tell both of them?
You can tell both. I was at Lake Talcott. You can go ahead and tell that story.
Yeah, the first one was when he left those graphs at home, and he had a little high speed come apart. The next calls me. He said, "I'm out here at Lake Talcott.
Fish everywhere, Ryan. There's fish everywhere. Like there's 200 fish in a span. And my unit starts to do this sloping up and down.
Everywhere.
Oh.
So I called John. He'll finish telling you.
Nothing's working right. Nothing's working. I said, "Calm down, buddy."
I had 2 units with me, and both of them was just up and down.
Yeah. So we had to do stuff. But
we had to turn. Well, John was like, "Turn your HRS, adjust your pitch angle," and we went out and caught 70 fish. But there were so many fish schooling out there, Ryan. Like, I'm not exaggerating. When you made a span 70 feet, there was 200 fish in it.
But
schooling, running
stuff he already knew. He just was so pissed off that it was.
Yeah, I was living.
So speaking of that AHRS, you had yours on when it was doing that?
Yes.
No.
I've never had mine on, and I've heard a lot of people have issues with that, with the AHRS turned on. I don't know what that
stands for. It's some naval term. I've heard.
Here's the deal. I have set up probably 100 to 150 of these units.
Right.
Some of them want it, some of them don't. And this is going to be terrible for me to say, and somebody's going to like slap us back and forth. I have set them up both ways.
Right.
And if it acts right one way, I'll say, "All right, this is what you need to do. You need to set this, make it act better." And then if one sets up the other way, I'll say, "This is what you need to do to make it act better."
Right.
I'm sure.
My unit came like that with the HRS on, and for some reason, and I had a backup with me, Ryan. I had a 10-inch unit with me, and I hooked it up, and it was doing the same thing. So it's something to do with my black box where it's processing stuff.
Yeah.
I think I ended up having to turn it off and put it on 25 degrees to flatten my pan. It was doing this. And
I can fix them either way. Like if you get on the water and they're not doing right, you can call me. I can fix them either way. But some of them act. I don't know how to say it. Some act different than others.
Hey, they got a mind of their own when they start doing that stuff, man.
My little camouflage boat, I've got one set one way. I got my tournament boat set the other way.
Yeah.
That tells you anything.
Hey, that's something, man. You talk about that pitch angle, John and Shane. That's something else that when I'm scanning out with my old live scope, that when you're running at 7 or 8 or 10, the angle of your trolling motor is changing the bottom of your
Right, because
the
you're
ground.
flexing. Right.
Yeah, I actually adjust my pitch angle to where it's flush while I'm looking them down, so I won't miss anything on the bottom or whatever.
That's a good tip right there, Ryan.
Yeah,
Because
I don't really.
that trolling motor shaft is flexing, so that transducer's doing this.
Yeah,
backwards.
yeah. It's just I'm not using that transducer to catch the fish. When I switch it over, everything's fine, but
it
just keeps me from missing stuff.
You're telling everybody when you turn that trolling motor up, that shaft is flexing back, so you're adjusting the pitch back up to level it out. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Corey's wanting to know where the pitch. Corey, that pitch angle's under installation, buddy. Where the focus is, the HRS. When you turn the HRS off,
do not go mess with it if you get a good picture.
Yeah, that's true, Corey.
You
ain't got any trouble if yours not doing the uppy downy, but it does, Corey. Just call me. I'll straighten you out because I learned the hard way. So if yours is flat, don't worry about it.
If you got a good picture, do not go mess with that pitch angle.
That's exactly right.
Hey,
my other unit never done that.
Are there any new updates on Garmin lately? I haven't really paid attention.
I have no.
I don't think one's come out since January.
30.1 still the last one.
I think that's the last one I done. So
yeah, I would with it. I mean,
hey, so let me ask you this, John. The Crappie Masters Elite Series, they have camera boats or camera guys in the boats a lot of times, and they link their back unit up with the front so the camera guy can see what's going on.
Yeah.
Do you have to have, okay, so I've got an 8616 to GPS map up front, but I've got an echo map for my console. Will those link, or do I have to have a GPS map in the back as well? Do you know that?
You just slapped me so hard.
Hey, I bet you'll know tomorrow, won't you?
Here's the deal. All right, linking wise, I can tell you a lot about Humminbird, but linking Garmin stuff, I'm not the expert or person that knows anything, but I can find out. I don't know. I can link and this is the reason why I'm a dummy on this. I use Humminbird for side imaging and map purposes.
Right.
And that's what I teach people on. Like somebody goes to the boat dealership and they want a class. I go and I teach them on, that. But when it goes to forward face sonar, I go to Garmin. So I really should be the smarter person as far as side imaging on Garmin, but I'm not. But I'm sure that somebody that's like,
somebody just commented and said they have
Jamie
to
just commented. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they
somebody's dealt with that stuff. So,
Yeah, thank you whoever did that because my buddy
Jamie.
Curveball.
Yeah, somebody may comment in here, Ryan, and that's dealt with it. That's a good thing about it.
Yeah.
Somebody's dealt with all that stuff and knows what you can link and what you can't. He says they have to be the same family, so that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's not what I thought, but I didn't know.
Yeah. Well,
all right. So cost saving, I'll save some people some money if they want to save money on Humminbird equipment. All right. So Gen 1 will not network with anything above it. So if somebody's sending you a Gen 1 Helix,
right,
buy it if you want to network it. Gen 2, 3, 4 will network with each other as long as they're in on the nomenclature of the unit. So if you got like a G3N, it will network.
You're talking about Humminbirds now, not live scope. So
all right,
he's talking about Humminbirds. They'll link together, but Gen 1 will link with the others. You're saying.
So I've had some friends that bought like Helixes, used Helixes, and be like a Helix 1, Gen 1. And they're like, oh, it won't network. I'm like, yeah, the first ones didn't. So don't let somebody get you like that.
Yeah.
If you got a question about like networking and stuff like that, text me and Shane. We'll get.
Yeah, we'll find. We got somebody that knows that stuff.
Yeah,
well more than we do. Way more. Excuse me. We'll start digging into it. But Mitch Blunt's asking me. He's talking about that tournament this weekend. Mitch, that tournament's at Miller's Ferry at Roland Cooper Park, buddy. The big crappie tournament where you weigh in every hour and the biggest crappie wins the $500.
Hey, Mitch, we showing up so Shane and Joe Allen cannot steal all the money.
Joe Allen and I are fishing. Big Daddy's fishing. John's coming.
Hey, I just see Amos was commenting about you all don't care about who you have showing up on your show.
I did see that earlier.
Hey, speaking of that, Clifford, they've got a new 8-footer coming out.
Yeah.
Should be here within the next week or two. Outlaw 8-footer, and Amos let me get a hold of his. He's got the only prototype,
right?
And that's a pretty sweet pole. I think it's going to replace the 10-footer that I've been using, and it's lightweight, and it's not too light, it's not too heavy. So I think it's going to be. I've got my name on one when they come in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We got Truman Lake tournament coming up on June 16th and 17th, and I plan on picking mine up if they come in by then.
Well, you get a pole like that and get accurate with it. That's what it's all about. Feels
yeah,
good
accuracy.
Accuracy's big time. I mean, no wasted cast, because people don't understand when you're trying to stop that boat and get set up, everything's moving. You got to be accurate with that first pitch. And that fish don't. If he don't want to cooperate, well, you can get another one in there. If he don't want, move on. It's what you're comfortable with as far as rod length wise. I carried a guy on a guide trip, Ryan, a couple of months ago, and he had trouble casting anything. And I had a 14-foot outlaw rod. John just got it for me, excuse me. And I said, man, you want to try this? He pulled that thing out and put it on that fish's nose and caught it. I said, what the? He took a 14-foot rod, and I was like, hey, anyway, I didn't get to keep that rod. He bought it from me, and he left with it.
That's funny how many of those poles are disappearing out of our boats.
I was sitting there going, he said, you're not getting this rod back. I was like, huh? He said, how much is this rod? I told him how much it was, and he skedaddled on out there with it. So that's awesome. There's old Corey. Corey Williams has been catching fish at the river up here. I see his sorry butt posting pictures during the week.
Sorry, bud.
I seen him been posting. He's been catching some nice fish, him and his boys. He posts a lot of pictures. He's got his couple boys out there with him catching fish, man. They're making videos. They're having a good time. So here's somebody asking on YouTube, if your pitch angle is rocking, what steps do you take to fix it? That's what we were just talking about, Dace. It was you turn the AHRS off, and it gives you a chance to adjust your pitch angle till it gets level.
I mean, I understand everything it does, but some units act differently than others. Let's just say, I've set some up like on poles and stuff like that wouldn't adjust normally, so you had to set the pitch angle.
Well, I've seen people say calibrate your compass, Dace, and that may work, but I'm telling you, if that thing's doing a ski slope or up or down, you turn that HRS up, it gives you selection to adjust your pitch angle. Mine's on 25. I don't know what yours may be on, but it actually lets you start adjusting until it levels out. So I hope that helps you.
Hey guys, I got one more thing talking about tournament fishing.
We ran over an hour. There's still 35 people on here. So
I think this is pretty important coming in the summertime tournament fishing. You got to take care of those fish. I'm going to show you my setup here.
Yeah.
When I got into crappie fishing, I watched or listened to a ton of Brad Chappell's Crappie Connection.
Oh yeah, we listened to him on Tuesday night.
Oh man, yes, and over the years, I mean, got Ronnie Caps and Steve talk about take care of the fish. Well, something that I do on mine is I got this Bub's Daddy aerator right there.
Look at that big old thing. Woo.
It's a dual pump, and I drilled my hose through this box here. It goes to my live well, and I run these micro bubblers that puts off real small bubbles, so the bubbles, the oxygen stays in the water longer instead of the big bubbles. They just come up, when they bust, the oxygen's gone.
Right.
And then also I've got a thermometer run through there right here. And I always add a bag of ice, like Steve and Ronnie said, and
That's
and add a bag of ice in there when you start in the summertime. And then something else I found out here lately is this foam moth.
Yeah, I seen
During the
Hayden
summer,
posting about that. Yeah.
yeah, a lot
Just
of
a couple of
during the,
drops of it knocks the foam off.
yeah, just a few drops, and that foam, the foam will kill fish fast in the summertime. So keep that water about 10 degrees cooler in G juice. I just went to Grizzly Jig and bought me a big half a gallon of it. So I'm ready.
John and I had this conversation today. And I talked to Eric about the same thing, and he basically he shared the same setup you did with me. And I talked to Eric. He said the same thing. Guys, they're filling up their live wells and not pumping any more water in, putting ice in them, put the G juice, running the bubbler, and they're not changing the temperature, because if that boat sucks, water in off the top of the river, it's hot. So
If
they're
you
trying to keep it a
if you
certain
run
temperature.
your pumps with it, like on the Ranger boats, they got auto and recirc. If you run it on auto, you're pumping in that hot water back in there, and you're warming your water back up, and something that I can't remember who it was that fish, crappie don't like current, so they don't like those pumps running. And anyway, so that's why I run that Bub's Daddy aerator all day long with a Milwaukee battery in it. I can run it for about three days like that.
That's awesome.
And it just keeps that foam off, keeps that foam down, and just I always have an extra bag of ice if I need to add it throughout the day.
I'm gonna try to go to Bass Pro Shops tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Pick up me some stuff myself.
And it knocks the slime off the fish. That research does.
Do I now?
Yeah.
It knocks the slime off the fish.
Yeah, slime's important when it comes down to hundreds.
Yeah, that research
Amen.
knocks the slime off the fish, and then hell, we use frozen water balls. We'll take like 10 frozen water balls. We'll swap them out every hour. We'll
Set an alarm for every hour.
Every hour, we'll have my ice down. We'll just put them in the live well. One, swap it out, and what happens is the fish, like if you're in a tournament, if the water's hotter, the fish's metabolism is speeding up, so he needs more oxygen. If you're not providing more oxygen, you're screwed, because you're gonna die.
Right.
He'll get that golden eye, and then he gets that blue eye. When he gets the blue eye, you might as well go to the house.
That's exactly right. These guys are telling you how to take care of summer crappie. John him and Jessica had a bad experience when the national championship, wasn't it several years ago, John?
2021.
I remember that. John told me the story, and we're fishing that big fish tournament, and you take a 1.80 pound, 2 pound fish, you got to take care of that fish, because they're more susceptible. Get on their sides, put a belly weight on them. So I'm hunting me a bubbler tomorrow, because I'm going to set my stuff up to. I don't want to, when I'm guiding, I just throw them in there on ice or throw them in the live well. You're not worried about trying to.
You're gonna peel the sides off of them, yeah.
Right.
But my father-in-law said you're catching peelers.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We've been almost an hour, 20 minutes. It flies by. It's unreal.
I told Ryan.
It does, man. I appreciate everybody.
It does fly.
Well, knock us on. We need to congratulate, and actually, did somebody win the fishing trip with me and Jessica?
Not yet. We haven't given it away yet. We're gonna give that away soon. But I know you. I was really kind of waiting you to tell me until they get piled up, and I'm gonna run somebody down there too.
They need to come on.
I got you. Well, hey, what it is, Alpha Plumbing right here, D. He paid for a 1-day trip down there to fish with John and Jessica. And I was waiting until those fish piled up. Somebody's gonna win it. And matter of fact, we may pick somebody out of these comments tonight. So we had several comments come on there, and they can run down there and go catch some fish with John and Jessica down in Andalusia, Alabama. So I appreciate everybody tuning in.
We'll have a big time.
Yeah, look at here, old Corey. I want to share. I carried Mr. Melvin Sasser on a guide trip. Eric hooked him up,
buddy.
And he rebuilds starters and alternators, guys. And Corey called me and said, anybody can rebuild my alternator on my Mercury? I said, I know one man that can. I hooked him up, and hey, it looks like a car got his alternator built. So it was awesome. That's awesome to connect people like that.
My buddy Adam, I just seen a comment about him, but I want to congratulate him. He had his first tournament win last week. He's the one that beat me by a point.
I seen him comment up here. Let's see. Where are we at? Hang on.
I seen him. He beat me by a point, 1-3, and I've never been so more proud of losing in my life. It was he's been working hard at it, and he got me
right there. I seen that. Good for him. Good for him, man. Yeah. I appreciate you tuning in, Adam. I appreciate you being on here, Ryan. When I shut this thing off, you hang out when I end this broadcast, and we'll talk a little bit, man. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll try to answer some of your comments. If you got any other questions, message me or John or Ryan. If you're up Missouri way, anything, man. We all share each other's comments and stuff. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all get ready next Thursday. We'll be back. We're gonna get Ryan back on here. Maybe he comes down and hangs out with us. So. Stay on here, Ryan. Thank everybody. We've been on here an hour and 20 minutes.
Thank you all for joining in tonight.
All right, buddy. Stay on here, Ryan. See y'all guys.